Well, hello everyone. Hope you are doing well. Welcome to Navigating. Welcome Zoe. Welcome Vedant. Today we are going to talk about the newest political party, the rise of it, the Cockroach Janata Party. What it is, what we feel about it, why it is such a viral phenomenon in India, and how did it achieve this, and maybe also talk about whether it will make any difference, what we feel about it, do we support it or not. Welcome Zoe, welcome Vedant. How are you? How is your week going so far?
Pretty hectic, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hectic, but really well
basically
because
hectic because you went to a movie last night. Hope that went well without us.
You said no to come. It's not
You
my fault.
no proof. But yeah, Vedant,
yeah,
how
yeah,
is it going?
yeah, because it's the weekend, things are looking like they'll be getting better soon.
So it could be better because we are now seeing two moments of rebellion, sort of rebellion, digital rebellion. The first one we talked about, the lady in Mumbai going and shouting on the face of the minister or a face of the politician and saying that, I need to go. What is this? And she went viral literally, and everyone was talking about her. That was the first, I think, first form of maybe like a digital rebellion against the current state of things. And now this wave, when in the last 6 days, and I don't know the current following, but last time I checked it was around 20 million Instagram followers. And it's a huge thing because first of all, we are in social media and public relations and media overall, and we try to, or we work in things that we know helps a company to gain followers or helps a creator to gain followers. And we know that in 6 days achieving 20 million followers is not something that can be done even with like this million paid campaign budget, $1 million or rupees, because people still need some kind of a cause to follow in such a small time. And that is the viral phenomenon and virality, and that's why it made such a big noise that even the digital media started to cover this guy, and started to show people what it is, how it originated. So I think by now most people would know why it originated, but still, Vedant, if you can just very briefly, can you just give us the details?
You're just assuming every
Yeah, I just
episode that
assumed that you
I've
would
read up
know.
on
Yeah.
and I'll
You're that guy.
explain
You're
everything.
that guy in this
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, I've become that guy now. So okay, yeah. So the Cockroach Janata Party, I don't know what you'd call it. It's not like a political party. You would call it like a movement. Uh, uh, what do you say? Ironic kind of a
Yeah, it's
movement
a
started.
satire basically. It's a satirical
Satirical
online
movement.
political
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Started by a person named Abhijit Dipke,
Yeah.
who is, I mean, apparently from what I read, I don't know if it's confirmed, but he has studied from Pune. So
Yeah,
be
journalism
thought,
from
be
Pune.
present. Yeah, and he has worked in public relations before. He has worked with the Aam Aadmi Party, mostly on their social media campaign, like the memes campaign during 2020, from 2020 to 2023, and in 2020 when they won the Delhi Assembly elections. So he's the person behind all of this. And how it started, it is because of the Chief Justice of India, what he said during an open court hearing, where he said that there are youngsters like cockroaches who do not get any employment or they do not have any profession. So basically, he was calling the unemployed youth of the country who become like sort of activists on social media. Some of them become media and they start attacking everyone. So basically, what everyone sort of deciphered from that was that he's calling the youth unemployed and he is mad at them for uh, basically becoming activists without any sort of credibility and attacking the, what do you say, everyone that they can on social media. But he later clarified his remarks and he said that he just was talking about people who gain fraudulent degrees who do not have actual credibility to talk about it And he did not target all of the youth of the country. He called the youth the pillars of a developed India, which was obviously a damage control sort of a response because of how viral it went. So anyway, after this cockroach statement, this person, Abhijit, he posted on X, which is formerly Twitter. He posted, "What if all cockroaches came together in a sort of a, a funny meme kind of a way?" And he shared a Google form invitation asking people to join this movement and people who are lazy and unemployed. And then more than 3.5 lakh people signed up for that. And as you said, they have now, I mean, when you checked, it was around 20 million. When I checked before this episode, they are now close to 22 million on Instagram. Their X account, it was actually taken down yesterday because of a legal complaint launched by someone, as the platform said. But they created another account yesterday, and it is now close to 2 lakh followers in like one day. So, yeah, that is basically the context of this entire thing.
So why do you think there's such a rapid rise to something that is so cartoonish on the face of it as well? The manifesto also that they have given, or the website. So it's all satire. It's not something that is serious. But the reason that they started, or the message that they want to put out, is maybe very real. So why do you think there was such a rapid rise? You can start with Zoe.
Yeah. I think our generation in general, the Gen Z and I think the late millennials in general, they are very, very tired of being called like chronically online, or the people who only follow meme culture. They don't know anything about real world. You don't have any real stance about anything. You're always like you always have two opinions about everything. So these things are constantly being called out towards this generation in general, the youth of this generation. And I think that's very infuriating because we are more aware than all of our generations before, which is the case for all the youth in every generation, right?
Yeah.
They're more aware than the
Previous
generation that
generation,
is
yeah.
older to them. So we are really aware. We know a lot of stuff, and we don't really restrict ourselves to just one point of view. We are trying to understand all the point of views because also we have the access to all of the point of views that there are because of social media and internet. So that is the kind of upper hand that we have. But somehow it is being used against us, and because of this platform, because of social media, because of the internet, it's also become very easy for our generation to rebel against the system, to call out the system whenever we can, because it's as easy as making a video or posting a story, or posting a post for that matter. So there are so many creators who just do that. in when you look at it like that, it does not really take that much effort, but it also gives us so much power because we have an opinion and we can put it online for a lot of people to see, which was not the case
Mm.
before. So I feel like the politicians in general, or the people in leadership positions, are very afraid of this generation, because if we take it to our heads, and if we know that if we decide that all of us can get together and get something done, it can get done. The people in power know that this can happen,
Yeah.
and JP
I
is a
think
prime
I think
example of
it's a
that.
perfect time to also mention the series, The Diplomat, that we have
Yeah,
all watched,
yeah.
and how.
What a time that I've
Yeah.
watched the series.
So
It's a great.
basically, like, even if you haven't watched, I'm not going to get the give you spoilers, but basically the point that I took from that series is, which is very true, and I feel it is true, that people in power always are very insecure about what people feel about their moves, what they do, and what they speak about. Because obviously, if a lot of people come together and say that this is wrong and we won't allow it, they won't be able to do it. Which is also, I think, just an example outside of this topic about the data centers, the rapid rise of AI in the last 3 years. Maybe, the owners of those AI technologies felt that they can do whatever, but we saw that a lot of awareness was spread about data centers, the resources they are going to consume, and a lot of communities in US started to speak against it and then force the local government officials to either regulate or stop this rapid rise, and give
Yeah.
time for people to understand, do we actually need data centers or not. And that's why AI companies also want people to believe that what they're doing is for the people, which is fine. I mean, I'm not against AI companies, but the point where if enough people know what's the right thing to do, they might do it. I do have certain disagreements with what you're saying, but I'll come to Vedant first. Why do you feel that there was this massive rapid rise of this
Yeah.
CJP?
So, as you said earlier, there were a lot of people saying that these are bots. They've probably, you know, purchased all of these followers. But again, 20 million is not a small number to get, paid followers. And then you have also ministers from the ruling party and other people calling this, something that is orchestrated by the powers outside the country, and then obviously supported by the opposition just to target whatever the ruling party is doing and to bring them down, which was, again, people are just trying to diminish what it is. But what I feel personally, and we also discussed this in the Raghav Chadda episode that we did, where I also, we talked about that Raghav Chadda is doing all of this for this, he's big. This is a PR kind of a stunt where he's gaining followers on social media
Yeah.
by saying things exactly what the middle class or the youth want to hear. And as soon as he joined the BJP, he lost in million, I think around 3 million followers on Instagram. And that compared to the rapid rise of this party gaining like 22 million followers is kind of coincidence, is kind of, related, or it's a trend for me, because anything that goes against the establishment, which is anti-establishment, has sort of become like a trend with amongst the youth of the country right now. Because we also saw this during the video of the Mumbai lady who was, who talked against that. That also went viral because all of us who kind of are bothered by the problems that the country is facing, the middle class is facing, the poor of the country are facing, we feel represented when someone like this raises their voice or does anything against the establishment, may it be in a satirical manner, may it be in a serious manner. That is why I feel that this party or this whatever movement has started, it is also gaining the popularity or support of the youth because it is anti-establishment, and also because people feel represented that actually someone is now, even if it is just a movement, if it is not a real political party, through this we can actually show the government that we don't like what you're doing. You are probably just in power because you have no actual opposition. But if there actually exists an opposition which is slightly better than you, we would actually like to bring that in power. And this party is not going to contest elections, but this movement is sort or a form of a way of people showing that, you are not irreplaceable. It's just that because of the current situation, things are like these. But, if something like this actually comes into power, who listens to our views, and because the Cockroach Janta Party has also talked about the neat paper leak and whatever is issues have been going on in the countries recently. They want people to speak up on those issues, which the ruling party doesn't. So that is also another thing that we also want someone who actually talks about these issues. So yeah, that is
Yeah.
why I feel that it has
Yeah. So,
grown in popularity so much.
yeah, I agree with both of your points. The only, I wouldn't say disagreement, but only like a small detour that I take is when when you're talking about youth, and maybe we can get things done if we come together enough. Or when Vedan, you're talking about, okay, it's not irreplaceable. You are not irreplaceable. I just think that digital revolts or digital rebellion can have a very false effect on what we think most
Yeah.
people are thinking, because it depends on who is using the platform. It depends on from where they are following. And because it's an Indian channel or because it's something that is talking against the current people in power, we may feel that it's a force that a lot of people are joining because they want to speak against the current things, the current state of things. But we actually, there is a lot of ambiguity in why people are following, because many people may not have a very similar idea to how this country should be improved. Some of the followers may think, no, we need good infrastructure. Some of the followers may think we just need to get rid of BJP because they're too religious. Some of the, because like it's like what happens with Vedant and myself a lot of times, where we arrive at the same destination of an argument, but we take a
Yeah.
lot different routes to arrive over there. So I feel that concluding something from this amount in a very quick way, like this happening, this phenomenon of one particular satirical collective getting so much attention, and then drawing different sort of conclusions or different ideas from it, may give that certain phenomenon um, credit that it actually doesn't deserve, and kind of miss the actual point of what it symbolizes or what it is. And I feel that we should maybe just focus on why or what it means, like gaining 20 million followers, what it means. It may not mean that okay, people are unhappy with the current state of things. It may just mean that they are just not happy with BJP, because even though there is, like, we understand and we know that there is a lot of misinformation on the right, or people who are right leaning, the kind of content they consume is very misleading. And I have experienced and I've also read about it, that when they present when the creators from the right side present an argument, it is a lot about distractions. It doesn't actually have a lot of evidence in it. Obviously some arguments will have, but then we feel that okay, the left leaning guys won't do that, because overall the foundational philosophy is evidence based and, progressive, and we try to have more logical stance. But it can also happen
Yeah.
in India particularly, because we know that there is no right and left. There is like slightly extreme right and there is just right. So there as well, there is a lot of misinformation, and there is a lot of baseless arguments just to get rid of BJP or just to get rid of this right wing government, which
Yeah.
which is again, it's not like okay, the left guys or people supporting CJP are completely logical in knowing how the country should function, and the right and who are arguing against it are completely deranged. It's not like that, because I do feel that India suffers through misinformation so much that even us, even the young and the youth that we are talking about, still does not really understand what exactly is happening. And one evidence I have with that is when this manifesto was presented by CJP, I was hoping that if this guy works in PR, if this guy has worked with AAP and he's in Boston now and he's doing this, maybe he would have actually also mentioned one point of changing the system and making it a bit more decentralized and making the party more democratic, the parties itself more democratic. I also understand that this message may not have, would not have resonated with a lot of people. They won't understand what he is talking about, why this is the main thing. India suffers through a lot of problems that we face, and that's why what I mean when I say that there is misinformation, and there is also the people who think that we are anti-establishment also somehow maybe do not understand exactly what things that we should be against. And I'm not doubting any of them or any of their intelligence. I'm just saying that social media works this way, that it gives us the most attention worthy issue that may not be the actual reason for a lot of things that are happening. But nonetheless, I would still agree with both of your points, that this this viral movement does give us some idea that if an idea, like if a vision comes up to a lot of people who are online that tells you that this thing is against someone you don't like and someone in power, people are going to follow, and that's going to make a noise. And if it happens so rapidly, then that noise just becomes a lot, and then everyone has to talk about it. And yeah,
Yeah,
so
I think one of
yeah,
the main reasons
And
is, like you mentioned, is that also that this like BJP has been in power for such a long time.
yeah,
People are desperate to see a change because constantly promises are constantly being made. Things are constantly being said where we will make this change, we will do this for you, that for you. But the people who blindly believe them and then give them votes, and then eventually when they get elected and nothing gets done, they are getting converted into the opposition very quickly, because those are real issues. Not, I'm not saying about the issues that we face, but about the issues that are actually affecting the people who are not in the economic stature as us. So these people are constantly being subjected to, uh, this change of mind where they feel like this political party is not doing anything for us, but they've been in power for such a long time. And everybody is just, I feel like we're just desperate now for a change
yeah.
more than anything.
Mm. Yeah, Vedant, you were saying
yeah,
something.
and I also yeah, so I also agree with your point, Avni, that many people are not aware. That is why I said this is like a trend, and a
Mm,
trend is basically something that people just hop on to without
Yeah.
actually most of the times knowing why it is, why it exists, or what it is. And one more thing that to add to your point is that many people might not even be following this party on Instagram because they are against the BJP. A lot of them might be just following it just for memes because they think it's funny. They don't even care about politics in that way. So obviously everyone has their own, like, subjective kind of view. But what I also see this, uh, like how I see this is a lot of these people are going to be voting in the next 2029
mm,
elections. And as we know, a lot of majority of the voters don't actually read up on the manifestos of the parties or don't know who the candidates are. A lot of voters just purely vote based on misinformation, based on vibes. And I think something like this in our country is enough for a person to change their mind. And I mean, I'm not saying that it will happen. I'm just saying that it is enough to change a person's mind, and he'll just probably go thinking that maybe I'll just give my vote to this party because it is currently trending, and I don't even know what it stands for, I don't even know what it does, but I just don't want this party to win. That is why I'll give my vote to
yeah,
this party. And I personally don't think that this Cockroach Janta Party is actually going to do anything substantial, or it is like a party. I think we should just see it as a social media page, or what I would personally see it as. I mean, this is just my personal opinion, but when you see right now, what happens is that people get their information from a variety of sources. Some get it from influencers, some get it from news channels, others, get it from TV channels, stuff like that. But what this party can now also do is they won't probably go and contest elections or pretend that they are going to do activities for the people. But what they can do is now, because they have so many followers, they can actually create a collective social media platform where they can talk about the things that news channels don't talk about. And everyone that follows them, we now sort of have like a collective channel that we know is only going to talk, which is probably one dimensional because it won't probably address the other side of things. But I think this is what they can probably do going forward, because I don't think they have any plans of, actually going against the
yeah, and
people in power. They
Yeah.
just
yeah,
probably
I think that,
want to
and
prove
it
a point or make a statement.
yeah, yeah. I think the founder also said that he doesn't plan to make it a
Yeah.
political party. And generally, I am in favor of slow change. Although sometimes we feel that change should happen right now because it's very urgent. But it's always, I mean, I feel that it's always better to just like be slow, and over the period of 10 years make slow changes into things. Because sometimes, again, like you said, what happens is it makes a lot of noise, but then if it doesn't work out, it's a point to the opposite people. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
this, because if the Cockroach Janata Party actually does not work, and then they just become a meme page trolling BJP, it just becomes that, a meme page trolling
Yeah, it
BJP.
becomes another cockroach because
Yeah,
that's what the other parties are doing right
anyways, yeah, that's what they do on Instagram, anyways, and that's why, I always share the Mamdani reels, because he comes up, he actually tries to explain the complex problems as well, and that's what we also need to understand, that our political system is, and it's not like, it's not sophisticated enough to become this, where I rise up, I get 50 million followers, and I completely go and change the system. It's not that, because at a bureaucratic level, and at village levels, at rural levels, it's highly unorganized, it's highly undemocratic as well in many cases. So the votes that you're talking about, so we have to differentiate different communities. One is the urban elite community who votes. The second is the upper middle class, then the middle class, then the lower middle class, urban poor, rich farmers, poor farmers, middle class farmers, completely low economic families in rural areas, the
Yeah.
Khedegao that we talk about, which is not even like a proper village, but so we know that many times the Nagar Sevak will come up, and he will, like, knows the mandals, local mandals, and he knows the local politicians, and some leader of the union, and maybe it's the public transport union, or maybe our hair salons, they also have a union, and they also work together, because
now.
they have to manage competitions. But these guys know the local Nagar Sevak, and the Nagar Sevak obviously works for the local politician. And then what we talk about, this movement, digital movement, that's great to make noise, and great to tell the most upper level that, look at this, look at what is happening. But then when it
Yeah.
comes to elections, it's very difficult to make that change, unless someone actually goes and works on the ground to make people aware about their choices. And then comes another problem, and which will tie up with why digital rebellion is such a big trend now. Uh, is that even if you go and try to make people aware, there are certain forces of power at play, which forces the people who are underprivileged, or people who cannot exercise their freedom because they are in survival mode, and maybe the someone who has an upper hand on them is going to say, if you don't vote, or if you don't do this, like, you will not get this privilege from my side, and you will not get this, and you will not get that. So that's why we have to understand that it is still Indians, in most part of India, is still chaotic and unorganized, and that's why people are also afraid to exercise their freedom. And it's, even if they say stand up against their local MLA, for example, they don't actually know if they are safe, if they're not at in a privileged position. And we discussed this during the Mumbai lady incident, that she was so privileged that
Yeah.
she got away with it. But if there was an underprivileged person going up, or someone who works on the streets, and then going up and talking about it, he may have, I don't know what would have happened to that guy.
Gotten
So
beaten up probably
yeah,
because that's
probably.
happening.
Yeah. And that's why I think a lot of us as well, we know this condition, and people who know their privilege, okay, we all three of us are privileged more than a huge part of India, but we're also not that privileged compared to others, because we don't have power, we don't have money to do something if we go and, stir up wrong people. So that's why our method of rebellion becomes the digital rebellion, where we will post a story that we care about. We think that, that's the expression. When we post something on a story about a issue that we care, it's an expression, and we want more people, or people who follow us, to know that I care about this, and you should care about this. And when we follow something, or follow a page that we feel is representing our issues, is a small form of rebellion, that we want to we at least want to support people who are fighting for what we want to fight for, but can't. And that's why, it ties up with this digital rebellion trend as well for me. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I think that has we've also seen that uh, with comedians happening a lot where they speak about something. If
Yeah.
it, I'm talking about the other side of your point actually, where something that probably a comedian has said, or someone on social media has said, has gone viral to a point where goons from a particular party have gone and thrashed a place, or threatened people, or tried to stir things up. So that is also another side of it. Probably we don't have the entire freedom to do it right now. Even us, we also do it in a way that is not directly harmful to us. I mean, this is still very moderated
And yeah,
and still very, yeah, like primitive, I would say.
yeah, and obviously it is like we get it right, and social like looking at social media also plays a huge part. So because
Mm.
like obviously when we see reels and posts that are about how police actually didn't help the victim, or the court actually didn't help the victim, and obviously it plays a role in our minds, and that's why we kind of also feel that maybe our local policemen will not help us, but
Yeah.
that's not the case. Obviously there are good policemen, there are good judges, and the system might help us as well in certain things. But I feel it's quite normal to feel scared in this moment, because why not? Because if you're seeing all of these things, and if you're seeing all of these horrible things, so we might actually also feel that yeah, this could happen. So that's why let's make sure that where we are right now and what we can do, let's just do that. And then
Mm.
maybe if we have enough security,
Mm.
we'll go and try to make change. Yeah, Vedant,
Yeah.
you were saying something. Yeah.
I was just agreeing to your, I just wanted to refer to your point earlier that, the ground reality is actually way different compared to what we see on social media. On social media, what happens is, as you said, it's mostly just noise, and the difference to what actually happens on ground during elections, because of as you said, the lower economic background communities and all of these. Layers of people that vote is vastly different. So whatever happens on social media probably just influences these metro city youth and probably tier one, tier two cities at most. But if you go any level beyond that, it it just doesn't matter to them. What matters is their survival, their daily livelihood, and which is most of the times controlled by these local politicians or people in power, and they have probably no other option rather than vote for them. So they don't actually care if any Cockroach Janta Party or any Mosquito Janta Party actually comes into existence. So it is there is a vast gap between social media and the ground reality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another
Yeah.
thing that I wanted to add in Vedant's point was that he mentioned that this would be a great opportunity for them to probably actually start a movement that is not just gaining followers and
Yeah.
becoming a sensation on social media, but beyond that, actually talking about what changes have to be done, are listening to the people and conveying it on social media. So that's a very like realistic thing that can be done after this fame. And I also saw a couple of influencers. Like I saw two, three reels at least, where the influencers were telling, like they were addressing Cockroach Janta Party, and they were like, "We are happy. We would be happy to like come in your team and start making reels for you because you are not doing this, but we specialize in that or something
Yeah.
like that."
Yeah.
So like there
Even
are
the
influencers who actually talk about a lot of political things and stuff, and they are interested in going and being a face of their channel, which is a
Mm.
great thing. I feel like they already have a follower base, they have the platform to start it, and these people have the content for it, so it would be a great collaboration also. And I think
I think
if this year this one thing properly, it can be done.
I think like they have the what do you say? They have the followers on social media,
Mm,
but they also have the support of the opposition party. If
mm,
you have, I
Yeah.
don't know if you've seen, but on X, Prakash Raj, a lot of members of Congress, a
Mahua
lot of the
Moitra also, I
opposition.
think,
mm,
Yeah, yeah,
said that
her
she
also.
supports.
They are active, like they're actively retweeting their tweets, and they are like, I am a cockroach party, something
yeah.
along those lines. They are supporting them. So probably their guidance can help these people because these people probably know about social media and how to, get viral or I don't know what, but actually what changes they can appeal to the people to bring about. Maybe these opposition leaders can actually help them instead of just ending up as another irrelevant meme page or something that fades away over time. If this actually, helps them prove to the people or convince or tell the people what they need to do or what their responsibility is or how they can actually raise a voice, at least in
Yeah,
the whatever their following is in the metro cities or whatever. I think
yeah,
maybe that is the best thing that they can do right now, because I don't actually expect anything substantial, any substantial change on ground that these people can bring,
Mm.
apart from, maybe just helping people realize what is wrong, what they can do, and because there is nobody actually doing that right now. So yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I think they are just because they are now associated with youth unhappiness. And those two words, how much ever noise they make, it's a good noise, I think, for me, that it will just reach the people who need to hear it. The more following they get, it doesn't matter what they think, what they're posting or something like that. I think right now, at least, and I don't know what happens in future, but right now they are the symbol or like the beacon of youth is unhappy. And if that gains momentum, and if that goes on to the right people, reaches right people, and we know that things do reach politicians, because I was very surprised that the Ranveer Halawadia case that happened, within 2 days Devendra Fadnavis was actually giving comments on him and saying that he shouldn't like say this and stuff. So it can reach people in power, and they must know about it. So the more noise it makes, the more message, like the message reaches them. So yeah,
And also them getting blocked on X, and a few of their posts also got, I think, rejected on Instagram as well.
yeah,
And of late, I have also seen a lot of other channels who do news or news against the current government in India. They also get blocked a lot. Their posts
yeah,
get reported and stuff. So this is also a very huge, it's something that is showing us that the government is taking cognizance of
yeah,
this, and like
yeah.
actually they don't want
And
people to look at it. And when people realize that a post from this particular channel is actually deleted, they are curious. They are
yeah,
curious to
of course.
know what's going on and why is this post deleted. And a lot of people also then start commenting whether on stuff like, is this dictatorship? Because like what's going on? Why are people not being able to say what they want to say
Yeah,
even on social media? How come?
yeah,
So I think that's also a good thing that's happening. The
yeah.
people are taking cognizance of it.
You know what Zoran Mamdani would have done? He would have kind of called
Probably
this
the poor
guy
guy.
and said that, you know what, we want to work together. So it's an incredible thing that you have done. Now we want to listen to you and what you want. If you're representing the youth, I'll give you like a month to come up with demands that maybe we can do something about it. So it's like the response, like you said, the response
Mm.
also tells us what the
Yes.
people in power actually want to do. If they really feel that, we want this country to get better, and it's not just about religious warfare. It's actually about getting the most equitable, or most is the right word, I think, not equal but like most equitable, where everyone has an equal opportunity to do something. If you want to get there, okay, let's listen to people, let's listen to this guy and this guy. Okay, this guy has a lot of followers, let's see what he wants to say. And just one more thing, I think Prashant Kishore, if you know, he's like the helper guy to a lot of politicians,
Mm.
and he was going into rallies before the Bihar election last year, and more than like what he wanted to say, it's not about that, but he just said that, Modi is now sitting over there at a high pedestal. He doesn't know what's going on to the ground. And what I took from it is, this is actually very true, because if someone, once they get into power, and the system that we have in India, where it's going to be very difficult after 4 years or 5 years for that person to actually know the reality, because that person usually surrounds themselves with yes men and people who tell them that you're doing great, man. But and it doesn't happen for the first 3 4 years, because because they have brought issues themselves, they are fighting for these issues, and they start working on these issues, so they know the reality. But then after 4 5 years, and now after 10 years, I don't think Modi even knows what's the reality of India anymore. I just feel that he just knows what he's doing is going to help India, and that's what he's doing. I don't think he actually understands the struggles or what exactly people want. And that's what maybe this kind of phenomenon just does. Just reach him and reach the people who are there and tell them, yeah, these many
Yeah,
people are just happy.
I think I think right now he's just, you know, he probably only knows that just eat melody and all your problems will be. That's all he knows. He doesn't know about the problems of the youth. He doesn't know what's going on in Manipur. He doesn't know what the NEET paper leak happened. He doesn't know the storms in UP that killed over 100 people. But yeah, he knows what chocolate the people of the country should be eating. So yeah.
I mean, do you
Yeah.
blame him though?
I
Would I
also
do something differently if I had a crush on someone and I had like this the biggest democracy? I would leave that. I mean,
I
you
mean,
have to
that's
do everything to impress her, man.
you probably took from the diplomat, you took the thing that people in power actually care about what people
Yeah.
uh think about them. I actually took that people in power actually have a lot of behind the stuff scenes going on which nobody actually gets to know about.
Yeah.
I actually
yeah, somehow
posted a
both of you, when I spoke to Avnish about when I watched Diplomat and I spoke to Avnish, that's what he said to me, and you said this exact thing to me. You were like, yeah, these people are having affairs somewhere
Yeah.
else.
Ac-
But I think
yeah.
going back to what you guys said right now, I forgot my point. Okay, so I also think that it goes back to how we don't have a good debate culture in India.
Mm.
In politicians, like between politicians, that is a huge thing that happens in the countries. Like in America, at least we've seen Cuomo and Mamdani be in a debate, and they've like talked about stuff. And this is not just about debate, but just addressing people. We've not had a press conference for the longest time, and it's a
Mm.
huge thing. But somehow I don't feel like enough people are calling it out in the system, at least. Not enough people are calling it out, and nothing is being done about it. So I feel like the accountability part of it, or the debating, or at least listening to the other point of view, is just simply not there. It feels like a single-minded, very linear thought process that is going on in the government right now, and that is what I feel is getting such response from social, like people on the social media, as well as the other like parties, opposition parties and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is,
Yeah.
if you recently saw what happened with that Norwegian journalist who
Exactly.
actually
That's
asked the
why.
Prime Minister for a press conference. So even if you do ask, like, can you answer our questions? What you get in return is a 20-page essay on why India is my country, all Indians are my brothers and sisters, and why India is great from the foreign diplomat. So I think it's just pointless now to even ask because there are so many people who will just come at you for why did you ask? He doesn't like, you are in no place to answer and we are a country,
Oh.
you are attacking us. So all of that comes into play.
Hmm.
So that is also why people
Yeah.
have probably stopped asking those questions even because they don't know,
Yeah.
they don't think that anything substantial is going to come out of it.
Yeah. And I
And it
think,
was ridiculous to
yeah,
know that he did not answer one single question from that Norwegian reporter, and he just walked off the stage.
yeah, he didn't
But
take
then we had
questions.
a lot
Yeah.
of
He didn't take
yeah,
questions. Yeah.
and then we had a lot of photos of him touring with Melanie. So
Yeah.
that was kind of weird to for us to know that our president, like it's our media does not get questions at all,
Yeah.
anyways. But even
Yeah.
outside, there is no representation, and people are calling us out for the index for the media freedom of
Freedom, yeah. Freedom of
freedom of
press.
the press. And so we are being called out for that, and it's kind of shameful for us because we are a very like we have a huge population. We are a big country, but somehow we're just lacking over there, and we're competing with countries like Sudan and Palestine for that matter. It's
Yeah.
just ridiculous for us to know that.
Yeah. 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 So, I think, but yeah, I mean, to just end with one line, like, do you support then CJP? Do you support? Are you going to go and follow them or like fill up their forms? Or, like, what do you think about the whole concept? Do you right now support them?
I did follow them because I wanted to track what they're doing. That does not mean that I follow them. I followed
Mm.
them on social media.
Okay.
I did not fill up any form, obviously, but I did look through what they did and what they're trying to do. I am more interested what they're gonna do now, like from
Mhm.
now on.
Yeah,
I'm not
having this
interested in what
much
they did.
power is like very
Exactly.
rare, basically. So
Yeah.
how
So I
you
am
gonna
interested
convert
in
it?
that. And then maybe later on they can have my following,
Yeah.
not just on
Yeah,
social media.
yeah. And Vedant?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still not sure about a stance on this situation. I just probably look at what the direction that they take, and then I'll probably have
Yeah.
an opinion. But right now, it's just like, it started like a week ago something. They just shot up in following. So I don't know. I'll probably wait a month to see if they actually exist
Yeah.
after that, and then have an opinion on them.
All right, all right. So, for me, it's the same. I think they've got so much power now. They should take time. They should. The founder should like look for people who can actually help him out, and maybe do something. Like, it's always better to start with awareness. Criticism can come later on. Maybe if he arranges groups and goes on to communities, making them aware about the issues they should care about or how things work, and maybe that can help them out in the next elections, and people can make informed choices. I think that's much better step to take, rather than being a meme page and then just being a creator who has 20 million followers now, and he just becomes this person who just talks against BJP. Like, no one needs that more. I think there are a lot of people who already do that. So yeah, and that's it. I think thank you for joining, Zui, Vedant. Will come back next week. There's no trivia for this because there is no trivia for this. But next time, if we discuss something that can have trivia. Zui, by the way, you weren't there last time around, so we still did trivia for Facebook.
I
And
know that.
You
I
yeah,
could
watched the
still ask you
episode.
could still
You
ask
guys
her
thought
the
I would win.
questions.
yeah,
Still ask her the
she,
questions. Don't record this, just ask her the questions.
yeah. All right, we'll do that after I end this recording. But yeah, if you found this episode informative, do subscribe and follow us. So, and yeah, until next time.